This is group 2, and we have a presentation to do. And this is where what we are working on. We will be looking at constructing, testing, and standardizing research instruments, and then we analysis of qualitative and quantitative data instruments. Also, let's just look at an outline of this study. The meaning of research instruments will be tackled, then constructing research instruments, testing research instruments, standardizing research instruments, quantitative instruments, qualitative instruments, and then the mixed methods instruments. So let's get into all of these one after the other. So let's look at an introduction to this study. Okay, let's look at the meaning of a research instrument. So we are saying that a research instrument is a tool. It is an equipment that we or the researchers use in collecting, measure, and record the data in their study. And we are saying that it also translates abstract concepts. It interprets abstract concepts, that is motivation, satisfaction, stress, into measurable variables. So all these things, we try to simplify them into a way that we can work with them. Let's look at a simple example over here. We said that include questionnaires. So the examples are questionnaires, interview guides, standardized tests, and observation schedules, and all these things are taken from Reganata. Okay, so let's now look at the characteristics of a good instrument, research instrument. Okay, we have that this instrument should be valid. It must be valid. That is what it claims to measure. So the instrument should be a valid one and it should be reliable. And so when we are saying valid, it should achieve the aim of the research, what the research intends to achieve. The instrument should be able to help you achieve that, and it should produce a reliable result. Then should be objective, that is free from researcher bias. Then it should be practical, that is easier to administer and score. And these are characteristics that determine research quality. Okay, so let's now look at constructing research instruments. What is constructing research instruments? We are saying that constructing a research instrument means that you are going to develop questions or tasks that accurately measure the research variable. So you are going to develop questions that will be able to help you to measure the variables that are involved in your research. And we said our process involves aligning items with research objectives and theoretical frameworks. And we said when you have a poor construction of the research instruments, it is going to lead you to an invalid results that will not be able to bring a good findings for you. Now, let's look at steps in doing this. We say number one, you have to define the research objectives and the variables. You have to clearly define them in your study. So we say that you must clearly identify these things. What is being measured? What are you going to measure? So you have to clearly define that. Then the independent and the dependent variables that are involved in your research, you have to clearly identify all of them. And then what is your targeted population? You have to also know, you have to have the ability to identify all these things, because these are the things that will help you to be able to carry out the research well. So we have an example, measuring student academic motivation among university students. Now, let's look at step 2. You have to now generate the items. So, and the items must do what? Reflect the construct being measured. And then it should be clear and concise, avoid ambiguity. So, it should be clear and concise, be brief, and you should avoid vagueness. It should be understandable, and then it should avoid leading to questions. Okay. Now, example of this is here. So, example of a poor item. Let's look at that. Do you always enjoy all your classes? And so this is in a poor state. So let's look at how to improve this same statement. I feel motivated to attend my classes. And this is a very improved one that is that can be used to maybe achieve a good result. And I will then the step 3 is to choose the response format. That's common formats is what the Likert scale. That is where you have the questionnaire to have the strongly agree, disagree in that order. And then we have multiple choice. That is where you said you have ABC and people tick where they are critique, and then dichotomous. That is where you have the yes and no questions, and then we have open-ended questions. You have open-ended questions. So in this case, I will hand on to a colleague to continue from here.
Now, before using the instrument on a large group, you must first test it. So we are going to look at the meaning of testing instruments. So testing ensures the instruments perform effectively before large-scale data collection. So before you can test an instrument, before you can use an instrument, it should perform effectively so that you can use it on a large group. So now we are going to look at balloting testing. So balloting testing is just talking about you giving the instrument to a small group similar to your real sample. So let's look at the definition here. Balloting testing involves administering the instrument to a small group similar to the study sample. As I said earlier, you giving the instrument to a small group similar to your real sample. So we have purpose under it. So the purpose under it says that it's check on clear questions. It identify on clear items. So it's the same as a check on clear questions. So balloting testing helps to detect mistakes before the actual collection. So that's the second point. Please, the next slide. So we have testing research instruments. Testing research instruments. So it estimates completion time. Then there's it estimates completion time. It means that it helps to estimate the time well. Then assess participants understand. So it also helps to understand participants. So it helps participants to get whatever that you are doing. Please, I'll pass over to Pearl to continue.
Okay, so still under testing research instrument, we have reliability. It provides detailed explanation for the people. So here we have over here that reliability refers to the consistency of measurement over time. That is how consistent the measurement is. Whether we test it over and over again, we have the same results. And the methods, we have test related to reliability. This is conducting the same test at different times. It has internal consistency for about greater than 0.70. Please move on to the next slide. Inter-rater reliability. This is the agreement between multiple observers. An example is a digital transformation scale with Chromebacks alpha of 0.85 shows strong internal consistency. Valdivia and Salazar et al. Still under testing research instruments, we have validity. Validity refers to the accuracy of measurements. Validity is like how accurate the measurement is valid and is also reliable. The types of validity include content validity, construct validity, criterion validity, and criterion validity. So when we take the content validity, we are just trying to say that expert review of items, expert review of the content, yes. And with the construct validity, it's the type of validity that aligns with theories that have been stated by theories. And we have criterion validity. The correlation with external outcomes. So yeah, we have validity ensures meaningful interpretation of the result. Next slide. We move on to standardizing research instruments. So when we talk about standardization, what do we mean? We basically mean that administering and scoring instruments under uniform conditions. Standardization reduces variability caused by external forces. So we standardize research so that we have right measurements. Please move on to the next slide.
Okay, so now we are looking at standardizing research instruments. And so when we are saying standardizing, it means that what works for all people. So now let's take the component of standardization. So now when you want to use an instrument, the instrument should carry the same instruction for all. That is a standard instruction. It should have fixed time limits. So the time limit that the responder should respond to your instrument. Then it should also have control environment. It means that the conditions under which you are using the instrument should be same for all respondents. Also, it must have a uniform scoring procedure. So you not use one different scoring sheet to score all your respondents. The model you are using to score your respondents should be the same throughout. Then the norm development. Then also, we have an example in National Standardized Mathematics Examination. So this exam is being set with similar instruction, with fixed time limits, with control environment, with uniform scoring procedure, then the same norm. So that's what we call it National Standardized Mathematics Examination. It cut across all examinations. So yeah, we have quantitative and qualitative research instruments. We will take them one after the other. Quantitative instruments. Quantitative instruments collect numerical data suitable for statistical analysis. So as you all know, quantitative deal with numbers, they deal with figures. And so when we are talking of quantitative instrument, we mean the instrument we use to collect data in terms of numbers or in terms of numeric, which we finally use for statistical analysis. Example, we have structured questionnaires. We also have achievement tests. These are examples of instrument we use in picking quantitative data. Next slide, please. We also use rating scales. Luckily, the aim for objectivity and generalizability. So we tend to use the data we collect to train a model or to train, yes, to raise a model for which you can use for generalizability, where it is testing or objectivity. It tests only facts, it can be generalized. Also, let's look at the strength and limitation of company with emotions. It is easily analyzed using statistical tools. Also enables comparison across groups. So since we can adjust two or more variables using this model. Next, to continue with the strength again, since it's a quantitative data and we raise models, so samples can replicate, samples should replicate the entire population, so we can generalize. Limitations may overlook context. So here we don't look at the context, we don't look at the conditions, we don't look at the environment in which these data are collected. Whether the people are under stress, they are having mass anxiety, we don't look at all those pointers. We just look at the value, the figures available to do our judgment. So limited flexibility. It does not allow for flexibility since it has nothing to do with looking at the reason behind the figures. Example, surveys measuring student satisfaction across multiple universities. So this is a very good example. Next slide. So now let's look at qualitative instruments. Now we are looking at the reason behind the figures. So this one, qualitative instrument collects rich descriptive data. It describes vividly what happened behind the scene of the figures. So let's look at example. We have semi-structured interviews. We have focus group discussions. We have observation protocols. They explore meaning, experiences, and perceptions. So that's what I'm saying, that all these groups, all the things that I just mentioned as an example of instrument, they look at the reason behind, they look at the perception, they look at the experience, they look at context in which all this information you're seeking can be received. Next slide. So now look at the strength and limitation of qualitative instruments. So the strength, provide deep understanding. After collecting the data, you could possibly prognose into what really happens. So it is deep understanding of phenomena. Also capture emotions and their context. So there is in terms of the feelings, the things around the figures are well looked at for, and then they are being contextualized. That limitation and the time consuming because interview requires booking appointment with the person and making sure that it makes convenience. Next slide, please. Continuation of the limitation subject to researcher interpretation. Sometimes the researcher misinterprets. That is within context, you find it difficult to generalize. You find it difficult to apply the same thing to other situations. Example, interviews experiences, collaboration experiences. So this one, we are looking at nurses. So you can compare this to teachers. You can compare this to accountants. So the context is within the domain of nurses. So that is why we can generalize. Next slide. So we have diagrams here showing all the instruments that we are working with. So we have the Likert scale, that's a sample of it. We have the survey, we have the mixed method survey, we have interview and survey combined. We also have test score and follow-up questions. We also have structured questionnaires. We have multiple choice tests. We also have structured interview. We have observation field notes. We have achievement tests, scores. We also have qualitative interview questions. We have focus group discussions, and what have you. These are all samples that we use in our instrument or in our research instrument. To proceed with, next slide, please. Mixed method instruments. So as the name implies, mixed method, it means that since the researcher wants to deploy both quantitative and qualitative methods of research, it requires their instrument as well. So the mixed method draws instrument from both quantitative and qualitative measurement. So let's look at this example. Survey measuring interprofessional collaboration is a very good example. Follow-up interviews explaining results. We can also have this approach increasing validity through triangulation. So since it's a to and fro, you go through this method, go through this one, go back to this one, it results to that sort of triangular movement in your use of instruments. That's one. So in conclusion, constructing, testing, and standardizing research instruments are essential processes in ensuring high quality research. So to have a research which is well conducted, which is widely recognized, you must make sure you go through all these processes. Also, careful construction aligns instrument with research objective. So whatever research objective you tend to achieve, it calls for instrument that work best for you, that aligns with your objective. Also, testing ensure reliability and validity. And so that is reliability talks of consistency, the validity talks of what exactly you are testing and how true it is. Also, standardization guarantees fairness and comparability. So because it's standardized, so you can compare the outcome of you using or deploying the instrument. Again, quantitative instrument provide measurable and generalizable findings, while qualitative instrument offer deep and depth analysis and context, as we already explained. Mixed method integrate both strength for comprehensive understanding. Therefore, the credibility of any research study largely depends on the quality of each data collection instrument. below our references to our work. Thank you.